Hello everyone, it's Great Fun, and today we are going to be playing ClanGen. This is the edit by SableSteel. It's been going around on YouTube for quite a while. I started playing back in September, so that's where this footage starts off from. But originally this game was made by just some cats, but I will just let my past self take over from here, and I will be interrupting as we go. Last time we left out on a mystery to solve, and this is what I've gathered from all the feedback that was left. Owlshade and Stagslip ventured out into the snow, managing to sneak by the Night Watch undetected. The two are out playing together, and that's when Bumble Ash notices that the two are missing from their nest. Instead of rousing anyone, she decides to hunt down the missing kittens herself. When she noticed the two playing in the cold, she's filled with this rage that they dared not follow her rules. She stalks the two like prey and easily strikes the two kittens dead. Bumble Ash washes her paws in the snow and goes back to her nest unseen. The next morning, Waterlight and Blackberry go on patrol and find the two kittens. The colony is stricken with grief at the unforeseen deaths of the kittens, especially the parents, thus Spring Cloverfoot, Bumble Ash, and Greenleg. The other kittens don't quite understand what's happened until much later on. No one knows who killed the kittens that night, but some cats notice the deadly gleam from Bumble Ash's eyes when some cats don't follow the rules, and that's what they find so suspicious. As a medicine cat, Cloverfoot notices the way that these kittens were killed, and she knows that they were murdered. There's just nothing she can do about it because she doesn't know who did it. I also left off on introducing a bunch of the kittens and the new loner that joined the colony. I decided to do this in groups, starting off with Holly Creek. Holly Creek is a new loner that was convinced to join by a Hailwind. Holly Creek is a male vengeful warrior, and I personally think he grew up as a loner, but he doesn't really talk much about his life as a loner. I also think he decided to join the colony because he was a little bit lonely, and he knew as he got older it would be getting harder and harder to defend himself. The colonies welcome pretty much any loner because they know life can get pretty hard out there, and they aren't going to turn away another set of paws to help defend their colonies. The first set of kits belong to Dust Spring and Bumble Ash. They're both females, so I'm choosing to believe they adopt the kittens they give birth to, whether that's a loner doesn't want to join the colony but wants a better life for her kittens, or just a lost kitten who doesn't have a mother anymore. Lost Blaze and Amber Eyes came from the same litter. Amber Eyes tends to be a little bit too rough when the two play together, but Lost Blaze has a good eye for her and knows how to catch her by surprise. They're not as much as a handful as Hailwind and Stagslip was, but they keep everyone's paws full just the same. The next set of kits belong to Waterlight and Star Rebel. These two tend to take turns in the nursery after a mood of Rebel Nose being stuck in the nursery so the kittens could feed. That way they both can continue to oversee the colony. Twigstep and Little Willow are both shy little kittens because they know that their parents are a big deal within the colony, so they try not to get into too much trouble. Twigstep is a little bit more insecure and doesn't think he'll live up to the colony's expectations, and Little Willow is nervous but excited to prove himself. The largest and final set of kittens belong to Greenleg and Cloverfoot. Just like Star Rebel, she takes turns with Greenleg spending the night in the nursery with her kits. It's a busy job trying to balance her healer's duties, but also take care of her kittens. Greenleg doesn't mind helping out where he can, and he really enjoys having kittens to look after. Dustpad, Dapplebur, Birchleap, Crofer, Brownbird, Scorchheart, and Pikeheart are also well aware of how important their mother is to the colony, but they always respond to that responsibility in different ways. Dustpad, Crofer, Brownbird, Scorchheart, and Pikeheart don't really think about or care much about the responsibilities laying on their shoulders, while Dapplebur and Birchleap think about this responsibility a lot and try their best not to get into too much trouble. They're all ready and willing to prove themselves to the colony, but none of them are really looking to be a healer's apprentice and instead want to be warriors like their father. Maybe it's the fact that they see how much work their mother has to do on a daily basis that makes them not want to be a healer's apprentice. Who knows? Dapplebird in particular thinks that Alshade died too young, and as he gets older and learns more about what happened, he's a little bit suspicious of his own clanmates. There's also this incident where Brownbird, Twigstep, and Scorchheart managed to hunt down a rabbit and bring it back to the colony, much to their parents' annoyance. Another thing that has changed is the fact that Tall Whisker and Blackberry are now warriors within the colony. It wasn't very surprising to any cat that it wasn't long that the two became mates. As a warrior, Tall Whisker is well aware of all the duties a leader has to possess, and he doesn't mind helping out his mother figure Star Rebel in the nursery with her 2 kittens. In fact, he really enjoys it and hopes that one day he and Blackberry can have kittens of their own. Every once in a while, Tall Whisker gets into disagreements with Star Rebel, but it isn't long before the two settle whatever disagreement they had. Blackberry, as a warrior, loves helping out in the nursery where she can as well. She's always going out of her way to make sure that the kittens have warm, comfortable nests to sleep in. In particular, she tries to find the best feathers to add to their moss. This sometimes leads her into a little bit of trouble, like the time she drove away a dog, all by herself. Hailwind was also made into an apprentice. This time he was made into Dustspring's apprentice. Now that Bumbleash is spending most of her time in the nursery instead of her, Star Rebel thinks it's time for her to be able to have an apprentice of her own. She's also personally seen how she helped train Blackberry and thinks that she was a good teacher. However, Hailwind is very excited to be an apprentice and often gets scolded for straying too far from the group. Back to the gameplay, I'm going to be skipping over some of the repetitive things unless I know it's going to be useful later on. Dustkit is listening to Waterlight studiously. Dappлекit thinks Owlkit died too young. You're probably right about that. I like the design of Dappлекit too, they're cute. Birchkit is feeling quite lazy. Crowkit is also very cute, wants to spend more time with Dustkit. Brownkit caught a huge rabbit. Scorchkit caught a huge rabbit. Pikekit is dreaming about growing up. Twigkit caught a huge rabbit. Littlekit is feeling a bit lonely. Holly Creek is having a serious fight with Dustkit. And this is the elder that joined the clan. Lostkit is spending a considerable amount of time grooming. Amberkit is spending time grooming as well. See, that's the standard message that always shows up. So Whirlpaw is the one that's going to be guiding us to Star Clan. There's Hollyash, there's Stagkit, and there's Owlkit. I don't know how the cat would perform poorly in Star Clan. These two are going to on patrol together. Dustpaw's apprentice. Dustpaw lost their tail to an otter. Dapplepaw has also started their apprenticeship. Dustpad is given to Blackberry in hopes she'll curb his troublemaking tendencies, and Dapplebird to Tall Whisker in hopes that he'll teach the young cat to be more confident within himself. Unfortunately, there was this incident where Dustpad got his tail caught under some rocks, and they had to amputate some of his tail. In the game, I know it said an otter, but otters don't really make sense in the sandy desert they live in. As an apprentice, Dustpad has a little bit more of an outlet to fuel his energetic tendencies, and Blackberry loves to keep him busy helping out the queens in the nursery in particular. Dustpad isn't really interested in the nursery at all, but he can still see why the queens need help with their kits. Dapplebird is still a nervous ball of energy, but with Tall Whisker's help he's able to hunt and patrol for the colony. He doesn't really like being in the spotlight though, so he tries to avoid being in the leading patrols and stays a little bit behind the others. Sometimes he helps out in the nursery with Dustpad and helps play with the kits while their mothers get a long needed break. But I think that's all we have time for today. So once again, thank you so much for all the support you've been leaving on my content. And hopefully I'll see you again real soon.